Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Rational Lunatic Media, where today we have a Delaware correctional officer who has been arrested and charged with assaulting an inmate. Before we get started, though, kick that like button, punch that subscribe button, flick that ding notification bell so you can stay up to date on all of my content. With that being said, if you're on TikTok and this video goes a little too long, like some tend to do, jump over to YouTube, catch the same content but the full amount there. And if you really want to know about the sickest individuals, officers, judges, officials doing the most heinous acts against we the people, jump over to my Patreon, linked in my YouTube, $5 a month, not safe for life news. Now, I say this every video, even though I technically, well, not technically, I have no subscribers on Patreon. Not one at all, right? And a part of me thinks, once in a while I think, no one cares. But then I realized the stories that I put out on that, on my Patreon social media. Um, For example, today I'll be dropping excuse me, a, is it Delaware? No, no, no. Yeah, it is Delaware. A Delaware school counselor has been charged with hard R'ing a student. Um, that's just one of the two stories I'm putting out today on my Patreon. So even though I get discouraged and I don't have any followers on Patreon yet, I do wholeheartedly believe that these stories need to be talked about. They need to be put out there. They need to be known. And even though there are outlets talking about this, they're local outlets. So Delaware's local news, at least one source has reported on it. I think just one, which pretty much is pretty much how all cases go. When I find these stories, it's like one news outlet in that area put it out, but the world doesn't know. Our country doesn't know. So right now there's about 60 stories, uh, news stories on my Patreon, and they are all that level of corruption, that level of heinous, that level of sick. It needs to be known just how wide spread this is, or how broad this reaches. Um, yeah. Anyway, with that being said, if you're still here, thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And let's just get into this one, shall we? This report was written by Eyewitness 3 News. A Hartford officer has been arrested for assaulting a prisoner. Hartford, Connecticut. WFSB. A Hartford police officer has been arrested for assaulting a prisoner following an incident on July 17th. Officer Marcelo Confiachero was assigned to guard a prisoner at the hospital who had been admitted after being arrested on 2 domestic assault warrants. Okay, so he's guarding a prisoner in the hospital who's been admitted to the hospital but apparently this guy has 2 assault, domestic assault warrants. Now, here's the thing. If that guy beat his wife, his daughter, his sister to like a bloody pulp, then whatever. He got what's coming to him. Then I hope that officer beat the living dog shit out of him. But if he got in a fight with his brother and this officer just doesn't like him, then I hope this officer gets what's coming. Now, I don't condone taking the law into your hands, but there's some, let's, how do I put this, you know, how do I put this lightly, or in a way that doesn't sound, like I want to just kill people, or I think being a vigilante is okay. Um, there's some mistakes that deserve a punishment beyond law enforcement. Yeah, that's the best way I can put that. There's some mistakes that I believe deserve punishment beyond law enforcement. Now, at the same time, I believe this. I also believe you need to be 100% positive that those mistakes have been made. You know what I mean? So many people have been accused of something and even convicted on hearsay, or because they couldn't, afford an attorney to prove their innocence. So they get put down on paper that, um, they've committed a crime that they haven't committed, and then they get either the full force of the law, or they go to prison and they get prison politicked on, even though they're innocent. Because in prison, they don't care. When your paperwork says you're bad, you're bad. And that's that's where a lot of these corrupt officers, corrupt officials, that's where I can't stand them. Because there are a lot of people that are wrongly put in prison, and then have to deal with prison politics because of corrupt officials that just wanted to build a name for themselves, that wanted an easy conviction, that didn't care to really do their job and find out what's really going on. So I think that's the main reason that vigilantism isn't a good thing, because unless you know for certain, unless you know the victim personally, you know what I mean, to where you can believe that person and that they would not lie to you, or you have video evidence, or you have seen it with your own two eyes, then there's no reason to be a vigilante. So, with that being said, if this cop was avenging someone and he knew for certain that this man had beat his wife, his sister, his daughter, the reason he had 2 domestic violence warrants was because he was honestly a bad dude, you know what? Do what you do, sir. But if you're just beating him because you're a pissed off officer, you can go sit down behind bars for the rest of them. And that's how I feel about it. So shoot me, sue me, whatever you want. Anyway, let's continue. Officer Marcelo Confiachero was assigned to guard a prisoner at the hospital who had been admitted after being arrested on 2 domestic assault warrants. On July 18th, during Confiachero's shift at 4:20 a.m., the prisoner exhibited erratic behavior, throwing objects around the room with his free hand. The prisoner's feet were shackled, and his left hand was handcuffed to the bed. So this guy's laying on a gurney, right, on his bed, ankle shackled, left hand shackled, and taking his right hand, and he's throwing probably his juice, right, his food tray, maybe grabbing the IV tower and like throwing it to the floor. And this officer just couldn't take that type of disrespect. Ooh, how dare you use your good hand to throw things around this room. You're going to pay for that, sir. According to reports, the prisoner threatened Confiachero. Oh. Punched him in the face and began spitting on the officer. You know what? Hey, honestly, hold on. hold on. Hold on. So, this dude is shackled to the bed. Ankle shackled, left hand shackled, has one hand free, and manages to beat the officer. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Come on. You gotta be kidding me. I mean, seriously. How retarded you gotta be to get beat by a dude who, who literally has both legs and one arm shackled to an inanimate object where he can't get very far. How do you get beat by that dude? now I now I understand why the officer assaulted him. What would you do? What would you do if a dude laying in a hospital bed, shackled to it, had one free hand and started beating you? What would you do? That's the heading of this story. Man shackled to bed beats officer. All right, I'm done. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's way too much. Let's continue. Jesus Christ. Anyway, in response, Confiachero punched the prisoner back and redirected his face to stop him from spitting. The prisoner was subsequently charged with interfering with an officer and assaulting public safety, emergency medical, public transit, or healthcare personnel. Oh, the prisoner was subsequently charged with interfering with an officer and assaulting public safety, emergency medical, public transit, or healthcare personnel. The Superior Court ruled that the use of force by Confiachero was justified in self-defense. Later that day, an emergency nurse reported that Confiachero slapped the prisoner in the face after the prisoner was fully secured in handcuffs. So now, he's still mad. This cop is still mad throughout the day, right? So now this prisoner is fully shackled, both arms cuffed, both legs cuffed to the bed, and this officer decides, oh yeah, feeling pretty bad now that this dude's completely, detained and can't move, and the officer decides to start slapping. Officer Confiachero, you are a BITC hashtag punk ass bro. You're a lame, a lop, a punk. Dude, you, sir, should not hold a badge. Not because you assaulted a prisoner, not because you're tough, because you don't have what it takes, bro. You're a swine, dog. You're not even a pig. You're just a, oh God. All right. Here's a challenge for y'all. Help me find some choice words that aren't curse words for this officer. What would you call this officer? Because I just call him a punk. Are you kidding me? All right, let's continue. This prompted the Internal Affairs Division to launch an investigation into the officer's conduct. So not only did the cop get beat by a one-armed prisoner, now he's getting charged with official misconduct for an assault, for assaulting the prisoner with no arms. Oh my God. The investigation determined there was probable cause to charge Confiachero with breach of peace in the second degree. The officer has turned himself in and has been placed on administrative leave with pay while the administrative and judicial investigations continue. The investigation remains active. Anyone with information regarding the case If you were at that hospital and you know anything else about this case, if you had the luxury of witnessing this one-armed prisoner beat on this poor officer, please call 1-800, or I'm sorry, 1-860-722-8477 and let them know. let, let them know. Let him know how bad he got beat up. I'm fucking shit. Alright, I'm crying. I'm crying under the mask. Anyway. God damn. Anyway. If you made it, you made it to the end with me. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hey, y'all, man. Hey, usually these stories aren't so funny. For once, this was a good one. Um, no, but really, thank you for being here. I hope y'all are doing well today. The sun's still out. It's not winter quite yet. It's we're coming in the fall. But while the sun's out there, man, get out there, get some sun, have some fun, and as we always say, stay tuned. But until the next one, y'all, stay healthy, stay free, stay aware, and stay wild, y'all.